Greetings to you one and all, wherever you may be viewing from. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Bayou Gold Guy. I am Bayou Gold Guy, and it's been an exciting week here at the Gold Station, I have to say. Had the Bayou Uniques pay dirt that came out, and tremendous response to that, and that was just so awesome. I've never had a day like that on or off YouTube, so that was just really cool, and just the fact that you guys jumped on it and really seemed to like the idea of it, and I was very happy to be able to share some really cool gold. I think that's that was kind of the whole point of it, and said Vendetta gave me the idea sitting on the couch the other day from the weekend, so. It was quite a roller coaster, and I really enjoyed it, and it's very humbling and very appreciated. And like I said, it was a lot of fun. Now comes the hard part of it. I don't know if it's come out yet. I did a little video on the labels, making the labels, and I still have a few to go. But I'm realizing it's Martini hour. I had to have more bottles, and that's what I use as my little mini Smirnoff bottles. I get at the convenience, the gas station here, 2 of them for $5, and it takes, there's more in $10 worth for 4 bottles that I can get in a, $15 bottle of vodka at the store. So, and it kind of helps keep me on, it acts as a limit. Yeah, we got a couple of those. I know, and I have a half of one of them at night. That's a couple of martinis, and despite what y'all might think, I really don't drink every night, and very rarely do I drink enough to really get more than just the usual martini buzz. But yeah, so and I pour my smaller bottles into a bigger bottle whenever I need more bottles. So no, I'm not in there slamming down bottles to make as I'm drawing labels to put pay dirt in. So but today's video, I think is very fitting for what just went on the pay dirt, because this is the pay dirt I received was from the person that bought the first bottle of the Bayou Uniques, and the material, he got some of this material and had her send it to me, and she bought the second bottle of pay dirt that went out. So that's very. It's a very copacetic and full circle type thing, very zen. So we're going to turn to the new gold epicenter of South Louisiana. And 3 minutes in, the camera shut off and said, "That's all you're going to get," because the man wouldn't stand for 5. Apparently, I had too much data from all those damn drawing videos I was doing, and it just 3 minutes was the limit that it had left, and it shut off, and I did not know it. So I went on commentating and opening stuff up for the next probably 8 to 10 minutes with no camera running. So that's why we have our awesome Banshee Mining bag open here with our Banshee sticker. And yes, Rocky Mountain Life Prospecting contacted Banshee and had her send me a bag of her pay dirt from him. It's the half-gram bag, and I had sent him something back, and a while back, and he was going to send me some of his stuff, and he hasn't been healing up, and everybody needs to send their best wishes and prayers out for Rob at Rocky Mountain Life, because most of you guys know he's been dealing with this for a couple of years now, and he just overdid it, I think, whenever, the stuff he does up there, and it's just not been working out for him, and all our best, Rob. But again, I'm telling him, dude, I just said that to you, he's done so much for his channel and for me personally, and it's like, dude, and of course, in Rob fashion, he's not going to hear of that, so I had something show up in the mail. I got it from Banshee, and I opened it up, and well, it didn't have a note or anything on it. I was like, damn, Julie. I sent her a message going, what are you sending me here, girl? It's, you've supported my channel. You buy my pay dirts. You certainly, don't need to show me any more love than you already have. You spread that out, on around. But And she messages me back going, you know, basically she's probably like, no, dumbass. I'm, you know, no. But that Rob had gotten it for me and had her send it to me. And, you know, again, he wouldn't take, don't worry about it for an answer, because that's the kind of guy he is, and so much of this community is. So we've got that, and I already had gone through and picked out, we had some cool, we had a 1942 war penny in there of our wheat pennies. We had this come up that looks like a piece of, I think it looks like a piece of amber to me. It's very cool. I'm sure it may just be a polished rock, but when you can see that kind of, you know, transparency through it, it almost looks like there's something in it, you know, that, you know, no, it's on the top, I guess. But I mean, you can see it's got a very cool, it could be amber. That's why I would picture a piece of amber to look. And then another very cool polished stone that was in there. Same thing, has that kind of almost that transparency quality to it. Then we had some beautiful, I'm betting that might be some Vendetta silver, because I have a feeling that Julie picks up a bag of Vendetta from time to time. That looks like some of that light fluffy stuff that he had done with all those, when you see that, all those growth lines in there, that forms a little like cocoons around itself. Very, very cool stuff. And then we had this one that's looks like something. I like the black rock. And we had a sparkler here. Well, it was sparkling when I showed it earlier, the first time when the video wasn't running. But a very angular piece. So yeah, some really, really cool. There was some, looks like almost like petrified. A piece of little piece of turquoise in there, some peridot. That's one I always like, that one too. I like the banded rock like that, where you've got the layers. That's why the tiger's eyes are so cool. But yeah, so very nice. And I had some mail come in today, and from my buddy out there in the libtard hellhole they call California, and he perseveres and actually thrives and does a lot of good for a lot of people around there, and he's always done a lot of good for us in the gold community here. Of course, I'm talking about our good friend Jammin' Jeff, JJ Prospecting, the Silver Master, and what was that last one that he did? 15 kilograms or 10 kilograms or something of. I know he and Vendetta are always going back and forth to who has the biggest silver holder thingy. But so yeah, I opened up the package. It's an envelope, and check out what he had made for the channel. That is the first Bayou Gold Guy channel stickers, and you'd swear that I'm sitting there holding one that I just drew, because it is some awesome detail on that. And if you see down at the bottom, it has that kind of you know, the way they do it. You can see it with the cartoon or with animated X-ray look, whatever you call that. But it's very good on the YouTube on there. But he said we not on there just say that it was he just did it as a friend. Like, man, okay, he's shaming me now on my own channel. That will prompt me now to finally get some damn stickers. And it's not like people haven't tried. You know, I had you know, when I first started, you know, when Jericho and Hercules first came on, he had sent me some of his that he had made up, the kind of the animated cartoon alligator. It kind of reminded me of Wally Gator. You know, he had the Mardi Gras beads, and then the guitar, and but when I put it on my channel there, it messed up the video. It played like it was running in a different mode, or, you know, size scale or something. I could not correct it. But and then I have Dan at Home Zoo has put out some very cool. He and his kids starting a graphic design business, and he would do it, was putting out, just send some stuff or say, hey, we were just thinking of this. I mean, again, just you know, somebody even considering your channel when they're not just watching, just around the house going, man, I'm gonna make up something for Bayou Gold. You know, that's dude, that's the biggest compliment you could ever have doing this. You know, likes and shares and thumbs up, all, you know, subscriptions aside, when you have people that actually are thinking about your channel when they're, you know, away from their computer, that's, you know, that means more to me than anything. So, but I was looking at some. I had one picked out. I was going to do the, you know, the very different look for it, and then I was going to keep my gator with the that I'm doing with the flag as my main channel sticker, because I'm going to keep the American flag incorporated in it like I have. That's what it is. It has been since I started. But and then to use this other one though is kind of the channel, you know, mascot looking thing, aside from our man in blue over there from Carson, another holy man in an unholy land out there in California, a pilgrim in an unholy land, as they say. And he's got young kids though that he's got to explain and deal with that stuff and keep away and protect from. And I'm having a feeling that Carson's lot are pretty savvy. Plus, he said how, you know, you tell them, yeah, when they're at the amusement park, that yeah, that's the ride that flew off the tracks, or killed somebody, flew out of, killed somebody. I was like, dude, but I take my nephew at Six Flags over Texas, and I'd say the same thing, you know. And you know, watch the rail in this, because the last month, whatever, you know, one of the cars flew off, and oh man, you know, then I'd have to, you know, I wouldn't let him get on there terrified, because he was pretty young. But you know, that's what kids are for, tormenting. So I got to remember, I already went through this once. I don't want to be redundant, but let's check out our Magneto. I showed it sticking to the bag when I started this, but video not found. And so there we go, a nice bit of video not found. Just like the Secret Service is saying today, because they've closed the big cocaine caper at the White House, and no suspects, no arrests. We have no idea who could have been in there and doing that in the most secure building in the world. And actually, I heard through that through a pretty reliable source, it was not Hunter Biden's cocaine that was found in there. And that the person that it actually belonged to, she has a history of enjoying the nose candy while on her knees, not praying, and happens to be in that exact area of where the stuff was found. But just the fact that, you know, they had a video that they've traced people all across the country in from January 6th. In the Capitol. You don't think that they're in a, and they say, oh, the common area, it was a common, and no, there was construction going on. There were hardly any people going there, and you could very easily you know, follow the camera trail, you would think, from who was in, you know, there can't be more than, you know, a dozen people probably over that time period that would have been, you know, maybe 20 even. And they used to do it and still do all around the country. It's called drug testing. And test these fucks. And, you know, find out if this was a Trump White House, they would be impeaching it. This would be another impeachment. But yeah, and then, you know, but most people were like, you know, well, yeah, the first person you're going to think, let's see who's known as a coke addict, was just seen driving 132 miles while hitting a crack pipe and records it and saves it. That's how stupid they are. Who else would be stupid enough to do coke and leave it laying around on there? Oh, you know, the first one. Yeah, okay. Oh man, it is beyond the pale that this goes on. So yeah, nothing to see here, folks. Don't worry about coke in the White House. Don't worry about the kid fuckers that are, you know, running this country, and the deviant perverts that are, you know, setting the morality for your kids and the tone of the country. Good Lord. We're gonna have to go through and get all that silver out individually. I still have not seen
that Sound of Freedom? The movie that's it actually just took over Insidious 2. It knocked out, you know, Indiana Jones, which was really not that hard to do. But yeah, it became the #1 movie this week, ahead of Insidious. This little independent flick cost them, I think, it was like 15 million. Yeah, 15 million, less than $20 million to make, and it beat out the $275 million Indiana Jones, and I think Insidious 2 is probably a cheaper movie, but still, just the fact that it looks like a little dog bone of copper there. That is very cool. Nice little copper chunk. Copper nugget, ingot. But yeah, just the fact that the media is just going crazy on trying to alienate people that, you know, to not go see it. Whereas they were the same ones that whenever Netflix put out the pervert favorite cuties that got all the rise because they sexualized, you know, prepubescent girls dressed like women dancing like, you know, topless dancers at the bar, strippers at a bar. That was brave and stunning and brave, and showed the whatever of whatever for reasons. But yeah, they were all behind that. But no, when it comes to exposing the child fuckers, that's you know, conspiracy and the adrenochromes that they're known to just say use, that they acquire from children. That is just like sci-fi, you know, witchcraft shit. Which he already was actually a member of a coven out in, of course, California. The Secret Service, one of the guys was saying how they you know, tell her we can't just keep going out there and carrying you out, you know, once a month out to California without a damn good reason. There we go. Our first Banshee gold. Sucked up a few garnets. There's a lot of little red garnets in there. Almost like ruby chip. They actually may be ruby chips because they seem. But there's so many of them. Usually you're not gonna you see that many ruby chips, but or maybe garnet chips. I'm not sure. Julie, and then there's some peridot, some little peridot throughout there. Silver, so very cool. So yeah, this will require some sitting down with the tweezers and I wear like 2 pair of glasses to give it that visor. Well, you know, overlapping one overlaps the other in the front, and it works kind of like, you know, one of those magnifying visors you can wear without having to have a harness around your head. When I have to deal with really tiny super stuff and don't want to be hunched over trying to look at it. So, all right, another little piece of silver there. Well, now it goes to that's a nice piece of pyrite there. So yeah, now we go to the black sand. Yeah, I saw something shining there. Nice piece of clear quartz. I don't know if y'all saw might have seen on the replies on the Matthew Lopez Squire paydirt that I had done of the Scottish gold, and that was a big Herkimer diamond that was in it. It looked like a glass ice cube, pointy ice cube. The clarity, it was beautiful. I had those I'd gotten from I always want to say Bill and Ted's Bill's Trash and Treasure with Jan, and those were cool, you know, especially, you know, for you get that little bag. It wasn't expensive, and you had some nice little stones, but they were small. This was, I thought maybe it was some kind of, I've seen some of that quartz that looks like it's almost, glass ice cube, but that definitely had that Herkimer look to it. So that was cool when he messaged me back and left a message in the chat saying, yeah, it was that was a Herkimer. So very cool. Y'all will be getting some of those UK garnets in your got the little amber colored and the ruby, the red ones as well, plus the regular size gator eyes, but you'll be getting a few of those sprinkled in. You have to look for them because they're small. I know there's a few of these bottles that they won't be open, but you can rest assured that you will have your gold will be in there waiting to be seen someday if you choose to open it. But I talked to people that messaged me that were getting some and said, man, I still haven't opened your last bottle. And I had one person who said, because like I said, if you wanted to have it done where I can keep your gold separate and then make up your bottle like normal without the gold, so you don't have to actually open it and get it out, or just sending you with no dirt, just in the goodies that go in there in your gold. And I did have one that, send me the gold separate, and I'll that way I can keep the bottle intact and not have to and still be able to see the gold. So that's awesome, man. I'm just so honored and flattered that you guys like the labels that much. I've always just did it just because that's what I had. Draw up some labels. I didn't want to just write my name on it. What fun is that? How about drawing an alligator with a gold nugget in his mouth, and went from there. I have my very first draft of that somewhere that I had just done in four different pens, kept scribbling on it, and the gators have definitely changed and on the labels over the years. Now that's what it's always sounds so weird saying years, but then at least that whenever people that have gotten, like I said, there's people who've gotten the very first paydirts that I ever sold, and got some of these too. So, and have gotten and then like I said, prize bottles that have gone out have always would also have different versions and stuff. So you're not always just getting the same. If I had a label printed up that was on all of them, I could sign it, but it would never be. It'd always be the same. So I don't know. It's anything. I got to make anything I do as hard as possible. That's my way. You have a little bit of that black sand. But yeah, man, I saw where Disney has lost $900 billion. $900 million, almost $1 billion on their crappy woke movies that they've been coming out pushing the woke, perverted agenda. And you saw they had nobody in the parks for the holidays. It's like normally lines that are 3 hours. At their worst times, they were down to something 40 minutes. They were waiting times under 20 minutes at Disney parks, because people, they don't want the man in the dress with makeup greeting their daughter to go get her princess dress. You look like you belong at the adult book club, hanging out, trolling for guys down in the red light district, but instead you're standing at the door of Disney greeting little girls Scaring the shit. If I'd been a kid, he would have creeped the hell out of me, girl or boy, either one. These are young kids that are going in there, But so yeah, man. Their streaming service has just lost like, tens, like up to tens of millions of viewers now. So I just say, just like Bud and every other woke company, Target's being brutalized. Kohl's got hit a lot worse than they were. Ben and Jerry's. They're like, okay, well, man, give that back all that Indian land that your headquarters is on. What? No, what was that? Oh shit, we forgot about that. They already had woke bullshit ice cream long before. I don't think I've ever eaten any Ben and Jerry's shit. But yeah, it cost them $2 billion. I say, nice work. Keep it up, America. It's just become a reflex now. What started as the Bud boycott again. One person, Dylan Mulvaney, and now I don't know if you saw that, he fled to Peru. He doesn't feel safe in his own country anymore, and Bud won't support him. Peru is a largely Catholic Christian country, and basically they do not tolerate homosexuality in any facet down there. So he's down there on his TikToks telling people how safe he feels in the Yeah, it's almost like it's like almost being in the sweet arms of Kuwait or Saudi Arabia. That's why they showed him out there in Machu Picchu in some deserted area. He wasn't filming like he always does, like in the bustling city, and he was out isolated. So, of course, that's where the gorillas get you. And I'm not talking about the ones in the mist. I'm talking about the ones in your midst, in those third world shitholes. Even if it's not a third world shithole itself, it's shithole adjacent. So you're gonna get that spillover. But yeah, man, I mean, in history, has there been one person that has cost a larger amount of money as a whole? Bernie Madoff and scammers that have taken people for, millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. But this one dude has cost, basically tens of, if not dozens of companies now that have, that are getting the knee-jerk reaction off of the response to him that has carried over this wave. I mean, you're just talking hundreds of billions of dollars from one person. When you think about it in those terms, it's just for somebody and he's a grifter. He's not a trans, he's not even, they're not even sure he's, that's what he said. I'm down in Peru, I still haven't been kissed. But everything he does, the voice and the motions and everything is just so, it's cartoonish. It's not, none of it's genuine. So, and he's a fad. And now as the fad fades, because it's become, basically despised across America for what it, represents. And he feels safer in Peru. Good luck getting somebody to kiss you down there. And surprise, well, I didn't think I needed to identify myself as anything other than someone that wants to kiss you. I could already hear his excuse as he's in the hospital with a fractured eye socket from where old Juan Valdez let the old mule go after him. I mean, like giving him a kick in the head, not what he'd actually be hoping for with the, the whole Mexican donkey show thing. Oh, that's just a wives' tale. I was down in Mexico. I never saw any donkey shows along the Texas border, at least. But I didn't get too far in. We parked the van and would walk across the river through the inspection and then come back, because even back in this, early 80s, you know, throughout the 70s. You would go down there and buy furniture at a great deal, but you'd always make sure you had enough cash to be able to pay off the federales as they would pull you over for your offenses, and make sure you weren't carrying, you know, back then, you know, when pot was, you know, like a felony and death penalty in Mexico, whatever. But it was, you know, they would, if they caught you with some of the ganja down there where it was coming from, you were fucked. But yeah, between the road robbers that back then they weren't quite so machete vicious. They would just take your shit and leave you, you know, stranded on the road in the middle of, either the arid or the jungle, depending on what part of Mexico you went for, how far you went down in or through. Most people tried to stay within 100 miles, 50 miles of the border, where they, like I said, you go down there and you'd have Mexican furniture that they'd made, and you get a, you know, dining set and all this, you know, nice heavy woodwork stuff for, you know, pennies on the dollar that you'd pay up here. But it's always been a criminal shithole. I mean, even back from the Old West, that's what the bandits did. They fled to Mexico because it was lawless, and it has not changed, except it's gotten much more vicious and less lawless and more lawless, you know, which is, there's not many places in North America that can say that. Actually, I don't think there's, well, Chicago and the libtard cities, but my little kittens are over 2 days over 2 weeks old now, and the eyes are open and they're much more active in their little box. I'm going to have to get a new setup rigged up for them so they're contained there. They've been sitting on the bed for 2 weeks because, like I said, she does not want me away from her any more than I have to be. And I tried moving it and set it somewhere else, and she would not have any part of it. She was making I put it back on the bed. She hopped in there and like stayed, wouldn't get out. And there's basically at nights I've been falling asleep with my hand in the box, and she's either has her head laying on my hand, or she's sitting there with her paw on my hand. Like I'm sitting literally hand holding this cat. But she's a new mama, and she's actually done very good. And the one I lost, it wasn't her fault. It was, like I said, I think he had a birth defect, a cleft palate, and just never would latch onto a nipple. So he just kind of faded away. But the other ones are healthy now. There's a little runt, the Snowball, the white one that's already climbs out of the he climbs out, I think it's he climbs out of the box to for me to hold him. He because ever since before his eyes were open, when she'd be out of the box, I'd have him out and hold him, kind of cup him in my hand on my chest, and they're watching a movie or something, watch TV, and he's now that his eyes are open, he comes to me, which I don't really want him doing that yet because he's can barely crawl. But I swear he looks like an albino. Sometimes the light, he has that very red in his eyes. Have to see when he gets bigger. But he is a beautiful, and he was the last one coming out, so I guess he was the first one starting in the oven because he's a bear. But I thought I'd probably give him a real cat name, unlike my other ones that I've always had. We'd call him Snowball. Or Bear, which it depends. It depends on if it's a boy or a girl, I guess, too. It's hard to tell when they're kittens, but I think he does have the male stuff down there. That's what I'm identifying him as at birth. Now that may be incorrect. He'll be suing me later on. All right, we'll get down to the last of this, and we'll be back. All right, we are down to the last, the blackest of our black sand. And of course, I have to give a big shout out to my brother, T-Rep, because he came in on the side. He was actually right there in the front of the pack as far as the first ones getting it, and he actually had a multiple purchase on that, and he has definitely bought the most. He's right behind. He's right ahead of Julie as far as the most pay dirt that people bought from me, and I'm very thankful and grateful to T-Rep. And he's the only one I've done the only channel I've done a multi video with. We did our pepper challenge there on the chip challenge he'd sent me on New Year's Eve. I've had John. I think John was on one time for a second on the camera, but as far as we've never done a video together like that. And actually, I've still got that segment. I need to repost that, as I've been meaning to, and I forget about it because it's way down the list of saved segments that I have. But yeah, that was tough. T-Rep, he was great on the challenge, but it was the aftermath that killed him. But yeah, it was pretty hot. It was pretty nasty. But yeah, he was like, "Man, you must have prepped." I was like, "No, dude, I hadn't eaten anything hardly all day until that." I don't think I was even drinking yet. But I've been editing damn videos. But yeah, I had no issue the next day. They were saying how it's worse coming out. Like, when I eat this stuff, none of it ever affects me that way. The only thing that really messes me up for some reason is orange juice. I don't know why. I can eat oranges. I can suck a lemon. I drink tons of lemonade. I make it fresh. Nothing. But I have one little glass of orange juice with a breakfast, and my stomach's on fire for, hours. I don't get it. That's why I don't drink screwdrivers, because diluting it down doesn't help. But I've got some. Actually, I had my first batch of habaneros. I've been waiting for them to turn a darker orange. They're staying that light color, yellowish orange. Maybe I don't know. They should be a bright orange when they're ripe. But they've been on there for a while, orange. So it's time to test one. My Reaper plant that I saved through the winter and thought it would have a jump start on for the year. It still hasn't even begun to flower, and it's struggling as far as even putting out new vegetation, foliage, and so it may not be a multi-generation, multi-year plant. It may do its thing and go. So I've got a second one that I bought that's growing, doing great. It's set back farther and getting more sun since I got it a little later when it finally came in. It's the same plant though, the Ed's, Carolina Reaper, since he did the strain. Basically, he has the patent on it. But I've got two different cayenne plants, and one of them has they're bright red, long cayennes, not a lick of heat to any of them. And then the other one that I have, which is not the Bonnie, it's a different grower. And, I take a big bite of it, seeds and all, and barely have any heat coming off. It's like, cayennes I used to grow them in Texas, and I'd try them when they were green, when they were first, getting the first ones, eating a green cayenne, and man, would have tears just streaming down my face from the. I said, man, you knew you were alive when you got bitten to those cayennes. And last year it was the same thing. The plant had no heat at all to it. And so yeah, I'm going to be pulling both of them. I hate to pull a plant that's full of peppers, but if they're fucking useless, there's no point of no point of keeping it around. I'll use it for something, put something else in it, but it's just the damnedest thing. I don't know what's going on with the cayenne peppers that are being grown that have, I know it's not just me used to eating hotter peppers, because you still, if you haven't, if you're not just, if you just take a bite out of a cayenne, it should have a reaction. You're not going to ever be so numb to it from eating, unless you just had one. But no, I'm not out here eating reapers and then trying the cayennes. Look at there, our last smile from the Banshee. And we've got some very fine gold left in the bottom of this one. It was hiding in the bottom of that black sand. That's some real fine gold there. So I was already going to have to do a thorough look through the tailings. This stuff with all this black sand, you just automatic. It's an automatic redo when you get done. But that was some very pretty stuff. I mean, that fine stuff, you have to literally vacuum it off the bottom of the pan to get it out of those, get it out of the grooves, and then use the camera to look, because I can't, even with my eyes on, it could still have some. So yeah, T-Rep, I'll be sending you some of the crop here to try. Like I said, I've only got, what, 5 on there or something? Hold on, let me see. Yeah, we got 5 peppers, and they look oranger on the camera than they are. They're very yellow still, but they should be a little bit brighter orange than they're showing up on here. So what do y'all think? Should we do a pepper test on the first? See there, it's almost starting to change to get dark there, which they've been on the vine long enough. Yeah, that one's starting to get a bad spot on it, so they got to come off. But there's my reaper, and you can see it's put some little fine new growth out, finally starting to. But I cut it back. I kept trimming it back as branches would die off, and but no flowers. And then my ghost pepper plant here is blooming out. It's got a bunch of blooms. This is the one that the raccoon knocked over and broke it off at the top. So it's actually got a nice came out from where it, yeah, where the stems, split at the very bottom. You can see the where it comes out. So, and then I've got my other reapers over there where it's getting more light, and you can see it's putting out big leaves. That's the same plant that I've got over here that I saved from last year. The same, I guess, clone. And then there's my boy. He's in his spot from the neighbor cat, Milk. And then there's that one. That's the one that's got a little heat to it. And then there's this one. You can tell it's a different plant, completely different long peppers, no heat at all to it. And then I got these little chili pekins over here. I'll throw in some of the, what is it? Haven't weeded this in a while. But yeah, this one, usually this grows up really tall and bushy. I don't know, maybe it's just petering out too, but these tend to have a little bit of heat to them too. Excuse me for not dressing for dinner. It's sweltering out here. So yeah, once I do the opening, I lose the hat, I lose the shirt. I still have my pants on, as far as you know. So we'll start with there's the long pepper off the plant that has no heat, cayenne. It doesn't even have a good cayenne flavor. It's just kind of a crunchy, acidic, maybe an acidic quality to it. Nothing, not even a spark. This is the other plant. You can see this is a stockier, shorter pepper. That you get a little nice burst of cayenne flavor to it. A very good taste, kind of that sweetness with that acidic, and a little bit of heat. But again, I'm crunching seeds and everything. When you're eating cayenne seeds, it sets your body on fire. Besides the flesh, that's where the heat packs. And I'm still chewing on it, trying to mash out the most I can. And again,
at least there's a little heat. I'm getting some burn in the back, so they are mature, and those are. And actually, I'm getting a little bit of afterburn now too, so that's kind of nice. That's again though, not before I would have tears running down my face from eating a cayenne like that. So let's cleanse the palate if we shall. All right. That's still the first martini, by the way. We're not double hitting yet. And then there's my little chili Pekin. Where's it? That's the little ornamental pepper. A very juicy, crunchy little pepper. It has immediate fire on your tongue. Sometimes I used to get some of those that would be, they'd call them wasp peppers, and they'd have little clusters like a yellow jacket nest with all these real red and yellow peppers popping out of it, like the bud of a wasp. So, yeah, it has that initial quick bite into your tongue, and kind of work a little bit in the jaws, but not as. Well, let's see here. We'll get a little chance to burn for a second. Not as strong as they were last year and the year that plant's been going for a couple of years. The same plant. I usually let it die off. I cut it back and it comes back, about a foot tall and full of those little peppers. But yeah, it's still got some. It's got some decent heat to it as far as you can tell it's a hot pepper. It's hard for me to gauge it compared to jalapenos because I just never really liked jalapenos, and I never had any that were really that hot. I just didn't like the flavor of jalapenos that much. So that brings us to the big boy. These used to be the end all for peppers back in the 90s, at least, whenever I just found out about them. My neighbor came over from across the street, and the old man next door to him, there's our friend. He had a great garden, was always growing stuff, and of course it looked more like a pumpkin. These tend to look like little drops. It should have a wider bottom and have a more of a pumpkin look to it, orange, But at any rate, that's what it looked like the first one he gave me. And he's like, and I was already growing cayennes. He's like, man, try this. Ken did some, is growing these peppers. They're really good. So I said, well, he goes, it's got a little heat. He goes, no, it's hotter than a banana pepper, but it's like a sweet pepper. So, okay, So I take a big bite out of it, and literally within 2 seconds, I'm still chewing, and I was like, I'm on fire. So, like Richard Pryor said, people get selfish when they're on fire. Help me, put me out. I'm on fire. That's what was going through my mind. God damn, I'm burning here from inside. So, let's see if this comes close to my fond memories of pepper injury on this one. So, cheers. Got a bunch of seeds out of that one. Sweet habanero flavor. Very nice. Bit of acidity to it. But no. Shit. I mean, it's got heat. Don't get me wrong. If you weren't a pepper eater, you probably, this is like, that's hot. But for a habanero, I should be hurting right now. And it is collecting. It is getting hotter. But again, it just doesn't look like it's ripe enough. It's very crunchy, and it has kind of still an early flavor to it, you might say, but now it's starting to set in a little bit. Got the nose going. That's starting to get a little burning behind the ears where it gets up in the jowls. Yeah. So all right, well, maybe like I said, it's still not injurious, but it is prompting a heat reaction that's not bad. So we'll see. Like I said, I'll send a couple of these your way, T-Rep, and you can give us your critique on the Bayou pepper. Don't wipe your eyes. I never heard if you did you have the actually I've sent a few of those bottles out of the ghost pepper sauce that I'll tell you, I would take anybody on a challenge, a spoon challenge of that stuff, because that stuff that Chef V sent me was the habanero sauce. It was so delicious. The gator roll, excuse me. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of, it's still burning, but it's already, you know, going, it gets to its peak and then it half-lifes out each time around, where it reduces in heat, but it's still getting the burn around the bag and the tongue. So yeah, it's still got some heat going, but yeah, that ghost pepper sauce from I'll put the picture on the screen. I can't think of the name now. My brain's frying. But yeah, that is. You put a few drops of that in something and it sets it on fire in the sauce. I've taken about a half spoonful and taken it. It lights you up. So, all right. Well, I think that made it through the sampling of out here on the Bayou Garden.
So let's take a look here at this here. Turn the light on because it is getting into the evening. And just to be clear, I am wearing pants. I don't want y'all thinking this is the Louisiana chapter of the Bohemian Grove. Yeah, not a lot of chance of being confused for that. You say, why would you mention Bohemian Grove? I had just heard it mentioned for the first time in years on the Michael Berry show. On he does some good stuff, but yeah, with Nixon and all the rich politicians, mostly Republicans. It's a little playground there. Check that out. That is some beautiful Banshee gold, and you can see that fine, tiny stuff hanging up there at the top. So there's a gem I went through and a peridot that made it in there. I do have our suck that up here in a second, but we do have our cool gems. I did pick out a bunch of the peridot, the small peridot, and all the silver. Some cool rocks, our turquoise, and some very cool crystal quartz pieces. That hunk of copper, and I'm still gonna, once this dries, there's a couple of the pieces of little, what that's. Again, it looks more like a ruby chip that I've gotten from Lynch than it does a garnet chip, but yeah, very cool little batch of goodies there. So we'll get this sucked up and dried up and see if I found everything I was supposed to. All right, we are back. Check out how cool that Banshee sticker looks. Like, yeah, changes the light a little bit on it, but yeah, at that angle, depending on where you move, it changes color. But that's my favorite spot right there, I think. I like that. There's the purple. So very good. And then the awesome sticker from Jammin' Jeff. Again, brother, that is just too cool. And then we're still representing over there with our coin. There's our Carson. There's our A3 Sky Warrior Navy coin. Mr. Doug Odette's Trump still standing guard. There's my peppers out there. The Smokin' Ed's Carolina Reaper. If you get a Carolina Reaper pepper, that's the brand you're getting because he made them. So, hottest pepper in the world. Here we go with our pan of beautiful dried Banshee Mining Gold. Very nice. We've got some little fine specks in there spread out throughout the pan. So we have got kick on the scale. And we also have our cool variety of gems and peridot and rocks and turquoise, our copper. I like to think of that as amber. Again, I'm not sure, but it looks like it could be. It's a cool rock, whatever it is. There's our sparkler that didn't. It was sparkling out there when I was looking at it the first time. But you can see it's got stuff all in it. Very cool little pyramid there, triangle. So very nice. Thank you so much, Julie. And then our cool little pennies. So let's see. We'll go ahead and check it. 20. Like it's supposed to be. I posted the my drawings video earlier today on doing up the labels, and this is much later than whenever I started. So yes, I had checked it out, and I have to say thank you so much for all the wonderful compliments and the comments on the video. I'm glad you guys are enjoying seeing that, and I really appreciate, like I said, I really appreciate all the compliments on it. It's you know, like I said, it's just part of doing this for me. So it's kind of keeps it fun on a different level, and the fact that y'all value them really means a lot. So again, I can't thank you enough. Calm down, the boys here want some attention. So there we go. 0.518, and I went through the tailings and was pretty thorough, so I do believe that we have a full recovery on that one. And I thank you so much, Miss Julie. I thank you especially, Rob, Rocky Mountain Life Prospecting. Again, you know, send that man all the good wishes that you have, because he's struggling, and as far as healing up, getting better, and it gets discouraging, and he's had you know, family issues, not immediate family, but at any rate, it's been tough for our friend, and he needs all the support that he can get to help him get back on the road to gold, because he's got some awesome property up there and some awesome potential on where he is, and it would be great to see him. What are you doing? Great to see him succeeding up there as fully as he should be. What? Of course, he's trying to dodge the camera now. What is it, Gizmo? Huh? Yeah. Literally, he jumps up into my arms when he's ready to go, when he wants to go out, especially when he's going to the car. So let's check this out. And there we have some beautiful Banshee Mining gold. And there will be a link in the description to her channel, and you can see about picking up some of this for yourself. She does sell her pay dirt, and again, it's a lot of fun, and some very nice little inclusions, and enough black sand. It took a little time to get through that, and then going back through it, like I said, there was a little black sand in there to get through. So thank you again to Rob at Rocky Mountain Live Prospecting, Julie at Banshee Mining, just and her awesome new sticker that's going to be going on the board. So I just have to strategically place it for maximum efficiency, because like I said, there's only a few spots left before I gotta expand. So awesome. And yep, the Value Gold guy, there's a sticker. What? Did the camera get that? That's what he does.
he jumps up into my arms. Actually, sometimes I don't even have to bend over, and he's up, you know, waist high. He's wanting to go out. I think he's wanting to go out and potty. At any rate, the boy notwithstanding, that will wrap up this episode of Bayou Gold Guy. I am Bayou Gold Guy, and I thank you all so much once again for what's with you, huh? There he goes. We'll go out and potty right away. Thank you for again being here for another episode. You guys that are in the chat, live chat during the premiere, thank y'all so much for being here. You people that watch from all around the world, it means a lot, and I just think that's awesome that we get to interact on any level on a global scale. So it's very humbling, like I said, for a doofy guy down here in South Louisiana in his backyard panning for gold. It comes in the mailbox. Not a likely scenario for, you know, who cares? But I mean, some of you guys care, and I thank you very much. I was mentioning the sauce. I was talking to John R. Prospecting. I don't know if that's coming in, zooming in clear or not, but that is the Dave's Ghost Pepper Sauce, where it actually has the warning on the back about keeping it away from children and pets, and if you have a heart condition, and using a drop at a time. And I wiped off the top of the neck of the bottle with a paper towel one time when I was using it, and then I picked it up a little bit later and had wiped my eye, and I swear I was blind. It's like, good Lord, like blind where I could not see blind. I've never been blind in my life. Blinded. Even I've had chunks of metal fly up and hit me in the eye, and I could still see. One eye was still good, but to have it in my eye and bleed to the next eye and just be blind, it was, like I said, it was traumatic. So that is some awesome sauce. I can tell you that. And then this is from somebody who just saw, you know, eat a habanero, and not the hottest habanero, but you guys know, if I'm saying something's hot, you can probably bet it's got a little heat to it. So still need to get like some benzo sauce. I've heard the benzo sauce is the fire, but we'll see. But once again, awesome paydirt from Banshee Mining. Awesome channel on Rocky Mountain Life Prospecting. Check him out. I'll leave a link for that, as well as for JAMMINJEFFS. He's not been doing much. He's been working too much, but he was doing that awesome silver. But thank you again so much for the stickers. Again, thank you for your time, and appreciate you hanging out with me. And until the next time, Gizmo and I say, take care of each other, and peace out, my friends.